What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. Now, we have an interview with EthanWX. He went storm chasing last night / yesterday, and he has a huge experience that he wants to share with you. Ethan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great today. What about you?
I'm doing all right. My first question is are you okay?
Yeah, I made it back in one piece and without any damage to my car or anything else. So yeah, I'm all right.
All right, now that that's out of the way, uh, would you like to? What would you like to say about your experience about all of this? Like, how did this whole thing start, and where did you go, and what did you find?
Well, yeah, as soon as I saw this event was looking pretty significant, they started off with, a day three, 30% hatch, and they put two moderate risks, one for the northern area, one for the southern area. Eventually, they made that a full moderate, and then on day one, they went double high risk areas. And obviously, since the northern one was a lot closer to me, being in Valparaiso, Indiana at the moment, that was ultimately the one I decided to chase. So, right after classes ended at 1:30, I decided I was going to leave. My original target was actually around Peoria. I was thinking about heading to this town called El Paso, Illinois. And on the way down there, I kind of got out a little. I got out right on time, but then I kind of hit some traffic on I-80, so that slowed me down. But my predictions were pretty much spot on, as the initial wave of supercells was moving through that area. The first storm I got on did have several tornado warnings. It was a pretty long-lived supercell that eventually formed into a cluster of storms that brought large hail to the Chicago metro area, including northwest Indiana.
Yep.
And yeah, I know, Pat, that was the same storm, part of the same cluster of storms that hit you. But yeah, it started out as an isolated supercell down in central Illinois. Kind of went through Peoria, produced some large hail there. There was at one point a spotter confirmed tornado on it, but it was relatively weak. So yeah, I came right down Interstate 55, pretty much straight down through pretty much past Joliet, then down towards Pontiac, which is where I intercepted the storm. Between Pontiac and Flanagan, Illinois. By that point, it was weakening a little bit. It was turning more into a multi-cell storm. It had originally been, a single isolated supercell. That storm did produce some pretty large hail just north of Peoria. There was tennis ball size hail reported, if I remember correctly. And
Damn.
some storm chasers up there had their windows blown out. But yeah, I got on that storm. I got hit by the RFD on the southern edge of it. It was structurally very interesting. We had a beautiful tail cloud.
Yeah, is this your what you just sent me on Discord, the one west of Pontiac?
Yeah, if you want to show your viewers that,
Yeah, we're
that's
showing it
what it
right
looked
now.
like. That's what
Yeah.
it looked like viewing from the west southwest before I got ran over by it. But yeah, I drove a little bit further north again. Kind of got hit by the RFD. It looked like it was trying to produce a tornado. The storm was rotating, but by that point, it had become very outflow dominant, and it didn't quite get the job done. But it was still a very intense storm. Structurally, one of the prettiest storms I've ever seen. Fortunately, I did not get any large hail from that one. No damage to
Right.
my vehicle. And yeah, that storm was moving though. It was hauling ass. It moved northeast at like 70 miles an hour. So by the time I decided that I was leaving that storm, it was already like 20 miles north of me. And then as it went north, it kind of formed into a cluster multi-cell storm that impacted the Chicago suburbs and then eventually northwest Indiana with some pretty large hail.
Yeah, we got dime sized here. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting.
At that point, I decided that I was going to head south and then a bit further west to target the main wave of severe storms. Now, obviously, the most intense stuff occurred up in Iowa, but I didn't have time to get there. So there was another wave of supercells moving out of Missouri into central Illinois that was pretty intense, produced multiple tornadoes. The storm I targeted kind of came out of Missouri from Bowling Green, Pittsfield, then up through Jacksonville, where it produced a couple of tornadoes. I got on that storm. It was very high precip, very rain wrapped, so it was kind of hard to see much. And I was kind of like trying to get south. I couldn't get south quick enough. I should have stayed on I-55 as I head towards all the way to Springfield, but unfortunately, I didn't quite have. Fortunately, that's not what I did. I ended up taking back roads to try and get closer to it. and I kind of underestimated how fast it was moving. So around the Athens area, a bit north of Springfield, I ended up getting in the core of the storm. I did see a rain-free basin, what I believe was a tornado trying to develop, but unfortunately, it was rain wrapped very quickly. I was on the north side of it, and I got slammed by the core of that storm. Probably 60, 70 mile an hour winds at least.
Jesus.
Torrential rain. Um, 1 inch hail as well. It was crazy, and that storm produced a ton of lightning. That was a powerful, high precip supercell.
Wow.
Yeah,
Um,
lots of lightning, very close strikes. The wind and hail was pretty insane with that, and a rain wrapped tornado was passing just to my south at that time. So, and yeah, unfortunately, my phone got flooded with water and died right about then because I couldn't charge it anymore. So that was unfortunate. But I had seen on radar that there was likely a tornado further south near this town called Sherman, Illinois. I decided to drive down there and look for damage, and let's just say I did unfortunately find quite a bit.
yeah,
Um,
you sent me that. We're gonna go ahead and show the audience real quickly. This is what we got out of Sherman, Illinois, right there. We're seeing this right here. I'm looking at the damage right now. Yeah, a lot of trees have been hit pretty hard with this. Just debris all over, and some houses were even destroyed from this. Yeah, what was your experience like in Sherman? What was it like when you got there?
Yeah, unfortunately, there was some residential areas that were impacted by that tornado. It looks like it wasn't on the ground very long, but it was just long enough to tear through a couple private residences and then another neighborhood across the interstate, right around 55. Um, I was really like minutes after the tornado, I was on the scene and I pulled up on this road that was kind of parallel to the highway where there were some homes, and then there was at the end of it there was a property that had gotten a direct hit. They had like two kind of garage type buildings, metal buildings that were pretty much torn apart. There was a flip truck over there. The trees were all snapped. You could literally smell the fresh pine.
Jesus.
You could smell the fresh pine and the earth and everything. It was crazy, coming there just minutes after a tornado had impacted it. And the cops were already starting to show up. They were starting to close off some other areas across the interstate where there was significant damage. And but at that point, there was no one on that road, and I saw this house that had taken a direct hit, this property. So I ran over to get some video of it on my GoPro now because unfortunately my phone was dead and flooded. I used the GoPro. I ran over to get some video of it and see if anyone needed help. And there were people in that house. I saw two guys there, and then another woman and a 97-year-old woman who were apparently in the house at the time the tornado hit. They took cover in the bathroom, and fortunately, none of them were injured. They were all okay, but they had a lot of damage to their home and property. They had like a shipping container that rolled into the west side of their home that had been, further out kind of on their property. It literally blew into the side of their house, and, the walls were ripped off, siding was off, parts of the roof were torn off, the windows were all blown out. It was pretty crazy to see that kind of damage, just minutes after it had happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but you said all the walls were ripped off and everything like that. Were any of the interior rooms intact other than the bathroom, or was that just it?
so I sent you a tweet where I showed the pictures of the damage.
Yep, we're seeing it right here.
That first house there, where you could see the like the walls ripped off and like the brick collapsing. That's the house that I came up to right
Jeez.
there. Yeah, you can see it's like half collapsed. Part of the roof was ripped off, like the siding is all torn off.
Oh my
And the
God.
interior rooms, they were mostly intact, but there was glass everywhere. The walls were all broken. Part of the house was like collapsed, and they were worried it was going to collapse fully, so they were trying to get the 97-year-old out of there as quick as possible. Yeah, very sad situation, but
Wow.
luckily all of those people got out safe.
Yeah, and if you're out there and you're in Tornado Alley, take notes because if you don't have a basement, your safest place is an interior room with no outside walls, and this is exactly the reason why right here. And I think we have a testimony now to prove that.
Yeah, and they had also tried to take cover in a pantry in their house, but that was but they ended up picking the bathroom instead. But
Honestly,
both of those interior rooms were fully intact and would have kept them safe. So right there is a real life lesson in why you always take shelter in the most interior room of your house when if there's a tornado warning.
yeah, honestly, the bathroom, your an interior bathroom's probably the safest place. Interior closet, everything like that. And I feel like this should be a lesson to a lot of people, honestly. So
Because
yeah,
yeah, if they had been in the, I mean, if those people, if they'd been in the living room or one of the bedrooms, they could have been seriously injured by flying debris through the windows, glass. You know, it could have been a very bad situation had they not gone in the bathroom. So yeah, fortunately they were all okay, but there was definitely a lot of damage to their property. All their trees were twisted and destroyed. They had like one of the trees here had sheet metal hanging in it, like wrapped around the branches.
yeah. Let's
And
go ahead and pull that
unfortunately,
up.
yeah, unfortunately, it crossed the interstate right there in Sherman, and it flipped over some vehicles into the ditches. And I did see two guys that were injured, and paramedics were already there, and they were, hosting them into ambulances. But as far as I know, there were no fatalities from this tornado, fortunately. And those two guys, I didn't, wasn't able to get any details on injuries, but I think that they ended up being okay. And
Okay.
then right across on the other side of the interstate, there was another neighborhood that took a direct hit from the tornado. Lots of homes were severely damaged or destroyed over there. Trees were torn apart. And actually, if you show that last photo that I have in my
Yep.
tweet, that pile of rubble there was a single-story house that got completely destroyed.
Yeah, I saw that.
House
Yeah.
next to it's very badly damaged. You can see the walls are blown out, windows are gone, part of the
Hmm.
roof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
if I had to guess, what I saw was at least EF2 damage, maybe EF3 to that one house.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at as well. I would say EF2 to EF3. Either way, this was still a very significant tornado. It looks like some of the exterior walls in some of these homes were kind of ripped out, as well as the roofs as well. Especially that last picture you sent me. Looks like everything except is it completely destroyed, or is there a couple of interior walls left?
That one house just looks like a pile of rubble.
Yeah. Jeez.
But I think yeah, further down there was a lot more damage, but the cops were already there. They had it blocked off, so I didn't want to get in the way of emergency responders
Yeah.
trying to help people. Fortunately, I don't think, other than those two guys on the interstate who had their truck blown into a ditch, I don't believe that there were any serious injuries or fatalities from this tornado. But it was definitely a very bad situation. Pretty sad to see a tornado hit a town
Yeah.
and affect people. See people lose everything in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. So you were in Sherman. A tornado hits. How long were you there to help these people? Help these people.
I'd say when I went into that one house, I was probably, talking to them, taking video for 15 minutes or so. And then I came back out once I saw everyone was okay, because then the cops pulled up, their neighbors came over to help. So I decided to get out of the way. And I had to sit, and a lot of people showed up to their house. So I was kind of stuck there in my car. And then eventually they moved, once the cops realized everyone was fine, they moved and I was able to get out of there. And then I tried to go across the interstate to the other neighborhood, but by then everything was already blocked off, and by then the storms were, already pretty well east of me, so there was no continuing chasing at that point.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's a very sad experience.
It was insane. Yeah, it's the thing you never want to see, storm chasing. I'm just glad that there weren't any casualties from that tornado, as far as I'm aware, but there were other tornadoes that did kill a number of people. I think there's 21 fatalities confirmed from this outbreak as a whole already, and that number is probably going to rise.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate. I'm actually gonna go ahead and pull up something from the SPC real quickly. The storm reports from yesterday so far. So far, we have 812 total reports, 66 tornado reports, 420 wind reports, only 6 of which were significant for some reason, and then the hail reports were 326, 27 of which were significant. So this was
Yeah,
all around. Go
one
ahead.
of the significant wind reports was right near us,
Yeah, in the
Valpo Porter
Chicago
County
area.
Airport.
Yeah, the Chicago area. Yeah.
Yeah, I know up in Valpo there was two severe storms, the first of which produced 1 inch hail,
Yep.
and a lot of rain, and the second of which produced 75-mile-per-hour winds. Lots of wind damage from that. Just an insane and far-reaching outbreak as a whole.
Yeah. My last question for you, Ethan, is: Did the high risk reach its reputation?
I would say so. It definitely verified. We had significant hail and wind reports, especially on the northern one, and then we also had a number of strong to violent tornadoes. I would not be surprised to see the Little Rock one, the one down in Little Rock in the high risk there, has already been rated EF3. There was a couple other strong tornadoes in that region that are probably going to be rated EF3 plus as well. And then up north, the Sherman tornado that I was on, I could see that going EF3
Yeah.
based on that one house I saw. And there was another tornado in Iowa that I'm pretty sure was violent, EF4.
Yeah, I saw a video of that. That was an absolutely crazy tornado. Ethan, do you have anything else for us about your experience?
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the full story. Fortunately, the people who were there were okay, and I hope they will have an easy time rebuilding. I know
Yeah.
it's not going to be easy, but hopefully hopefully they can recover from it.
Yeah, I think the important thing to take from this is that this is the exact reason why if they tell you to go into an interior room, because stuff like this, because if you're if you're in a room with exterior walls, you can get hit by the flying debris, as Ethan said. And an interior room, if you do not have a basement, is always the safest option, especially a bathroom, interior closet, even behind a stairwell, interior stairwell. That's pretty safe right there. But yeah, Ethan, thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome. I will be posting a lengthy YouTube video about my full chase on my channel. I do have quite a bit of footage from it, and I will be posting some footage of the first on scene of the damage path in Illinois. So yeah, we'll be posting all of that on my channel if you guys want to check that out.
I'll leave. Ethan's channel is down in the description down below. It has been for the last few uploads. He's been helping me out so much with this. Once that video drops, that'll be in the description down below as well. Ethan, thank you very much for coming on. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Subscribe to EthanWX as well. It helps us out, helps us get more people engaged with weather. But with that being said, have a wonderful day, guys. Stay safe.